Okay, hello. Hey, everyone. If I could just kind of get your attention for, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes or so. We're going to kind of officially kick off the hackathon. For those of you, I mean, most of the hard work's already happened. You guys put your projects up on the wiki and people have found you. It looks like most people are at a table and know which project they want to work on. After I'm done going through this, for those of you who haven't found a project yet, we have time to do that. So if you haven't gotten situated yet, don't worry. This actually really is just the start. It's just a lot of people are eager and they get here early and get going. So don't feel like you're behind. Don't get worried. We'll kick things off now. You'll have a better understanding of how this whole weekend's going to go. And then we'll get to doing more coding. So I'm Charles Eckel. I work at Cisco in the DevNet team. We did the first hackathon about 3 years ago. This is the 9th hackathon. Happy to have you guys here with us in Singapore. And for those of you, you probably all know Alyssa. I'm going to bring her over here. She's a IETF chair, a big part of us being here, a big part of Cisco actually sponsoring this year's hackathon, which is great, so that we have space and food and all that. So Alyssa.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. So good to see everybody here. Thank you to those who traveled long and short to get here. Charles was just telling me that this is the largest fall hackathon that we've had thus far. So now we break them down into which season it is, and so we can meet a milestone every season. But in general, it's been really exciting to see the turnout increase meeting over meeting for the hackathon, and to see the impact that the work that people do over the weekend is having on the IETF standardization process. So thank you to all of you for signing up for 2 extra days of work and making that happen. In general, I'm personally interested to understand how we can continue to make improvements. If people want more time to hack during the week, if there's other ways, other support that you need, other ways that we can integrate the work that happens on the weekend into the working group processes better. I would love to hear people's ideas and feedback. So definitely come chat with me over the weekend or during the week. Hopefully most of you are staying for the IETF meeting as well. Would love to hear from you about how we can do things better. As Charles said, Cisco is sponsoring this hackathon this time. It's actually Cisco Collaboration, which is my group in Cisco, and there was a little bit of a adventurous process to obtain the prizes for this. It involved a very last-minute trip to Fry's Electronics and 2 very large FedEx boxes, and a lot of conversation about what can make it through Singaporean customs. So, work hard this weekend, because there's potentially good prizes at the end. I believe the boxes showed up through customs. So thanks, everyone, and happy hacking.
Yeah, great. Thank you for that. And that reminded me, if you haven't gotten your T-shirt yet, the T-shirts actually showed up in time for the hackathon this time. So, and for those of you who still didn't get your T-shirt from Prague, believe it or not, I am still working on that. So, never again. Anyways, I'm so happy the T-shirts are here. And we do have people like checking you in, registering. If you didn't register, making sure you're on the list. Please do make sure you check in with them, even if for some reason you didn't want a T-shirt. Check in with them so that we get a count of who's here, and that helps us, get space and stuff for next time. So, welcome to the hackathon. Just a few questions that I'd like to see. How many of you, this is your first time at the hackathon? Hopefully, yeah, okay, that's great to see. Always happy to have new people coming in. This kind of mix of people who have been here several times and new people is exactly the type of thing we want to see. So welcome, and no bad questions. And so ask the people around you. If you feel free to ask questions now if you have them. I'm going to run through about 10 minutes of stuff and then be quiet. You can always come up here and find me if you have any questions. Is this anyone who's this your first time at like an IETF anything at all? Your first IETF experience? Oh, okay. That's really great. I'm very happy to see that too. Hopefully this is a good way to get you introduced into the IETF. I think it is, as opposed to, nothing wrong with reading drafts and going to a meeting, but I think coming and sitting down, working on code side by side with people for a weekend is a actual better experience and really gets you plugged in, doing something meaningful right away and contributing. So that's great. And then how many of you came here just for the hackathon and you're actually not going to be at the IETF meeting? Okay, so there's some of you too, and this I kind of feel good and bad about. I'm excited that you're so drawn by the hackathon, but hopefully after the hackathon, you start to see a reason why you might actually want to participate in future meetings, because we would love it if you did stay. So, but thanks for being here for this. Okay, so the goals of the hackathon. Really, since its inception, the mantra of the hackathon has been rough consensus and running code. That's how we get things done. But I think we had seen that maybe there had been a bit of a shift away from the running code. This is to try to put more emphasis on the running code. And the RFCI list here is just a way you can go and in your drafts and stuff mention the running code aspects of what you've done with your draft. Open source, it's best if what you're doing is open source. Just makes it a lot easier for us to all share and contribute and see what it is you're doing. If it's not, it's not like you can't participate in the hackathon, but really we're trying to create open source utilities, reference implementations, things like that make it easier for developers to take the standards that we're developing and actually start using them, because now it's not just a spec, but they actually have code they can start using and build on. And by doing that, the idea is to speed up and improve the standards process. Because if we're actually implementing the things while we're writing the drafts, we find bugs, we find things that are missing, underspecified, that type of thing, and we can fix them early in the process rather than arguing about it for a year or two and then realizing we missed something. And also, if we're producing running code, then that just gets it out there in the hands of developers a lot quicker. And so I think that's a great thing. But also equally important to all that, get to know each other, have some fun, meet people in other working groups, meet people who this is their first IETF, and people who have, if it is your first IETF, make sure you talk to some longtime IETFers. Get involved in different things. Just talk to the people around you, because take advantage of the fact that there's so many passionate people here that actually are spending their weekend here writing code as opposed to going out and doing other things. So like everything in the IETF, we operate under the note well. When you went through registration, you agreed to this, but just a reminder that what you do here is under the note well. But the one thing I do like to point out is that the note well doesn't say anything about code. And I mentioned before open source. Many of you will be working on code that's under some open source license. And when you work on that here, that you're not contributing that code to the IETF. It's actually, you're still working under the license of that code and whatever it is. So that's perfectly fine. And just realize that what is an IETF contribution are like any presentations that you do or that type of thing around the hackathon. But the code itself is governed more by the rules of the open source project that you're working on. Okay, so now just so that you have an idea of the agenda, I don't think anything's changed from what was on the wiki. This is a rundown of what's happening today. We're at that point now where we're doing the kickoff. And for those of you who haven't joined a team, we'll help you get situated in a team afterwards. Then so that you can stay here and keep working on stuff, we will have lunch brought in and snacks in the afternoon. And hopefully you'll stay with us all day. We have the room until 10 p.m. Dinner will be brought in. That should be nice. It'll be like a buffet style dinner, I think. We'll have beer. I don't think wine, but we'll have beer. So should have a good time. That's a good time to, I mentioned it's important to get to know the people around you. That's a good time to socialize a little bit. And you're free to work through dinner as well if you like. The room, we will close it and lock the doors at 10 p.m. By all means, you don't have to stay that long, but we do close it at 10 just This isn't one of those all-night hackathons. We figure that's a bit too much to ask with a full week of IETF stuff ahead for most people. Then tomorrow we start in the morning. It says here 9 a.m. The doors will open and coffee and stuff will be here a little bit earlier, but officially 9 a.m. Lunch will be brought in again. And now what I really like to emphasize is that we have a hard stop. We want to be completely done with the hackathon by by 4 p.m. in the afternoon. And the reason for that is that there's some, especially for you first-time people, there's a newcomers event that happens at 4 p.m. We want you to be able to go to that. So then working backwards from that, it really dictates our timing. So around 1:30, I really remind people, hey, you probably want to stop doing the development work that you're doing and start putting together a short presentation of what it was you were able to accomplish. And the idea is then from 2 to 3 p.m., we have each team present. Here, this is what we tried to do. This is what we actually did. This is the benefit or the impact it has on IETF work. This is how we interacted with open source communities, whatever. You can highlight the important things that you did and share that with everyone here. And that'll be broadcast on MeetEcho, so we can have that recorded too for whoever isn't here. And then we'll give out some awards. We actually do have some prizes this time, which Alyssa mentioned. So I'll share more on that tomorrow. And but the important thing is, for those of you who have been at previous hackathons, this isn't a super competitive one. The prizes are more for fun and a show of appreciation for being here. So don't get too hung up on that. The important thing is if you can help other teams excel, that's fantastic. If you can make your team be a winning team, that's just bonus. So, but we will have the presentations, we'll have awards, we'll have some judges listening to your presentations as well. And then by 5 p.m., we need to be out of here. Basically, this room gets converted into the IETF lounge. And so any equipment that you brought in and set up, I ask that you could have it out of here by 5 p.m. Tomorrow. If that is going to be a problem for you, let me know and we'll figure out some other arrangements. Any questions on the agenda? Yeah? No? Okay. Any other questions on anything that you want to ask right now?
Actually, there are two SSIDs, Jacqueline and Randy. Don't use them because they're being TCP dumped. So your data are being snarled.
Ah, okay. Thanks for the warning. So, yeah, good to know. Yeah.
Say something about the presentations and the judging.
Sure.
So, hi, I'm Barry Liba. I'm going to be one of the judges for the whimsical awards we're giving out. I really want to stress that these don't stress about this. These are whimsical things. We'll be giving a best overall work, but we're also going to be giving out, best use of the tablecloth and stuff like that. I mean, it's really going to be silly things as well as serious ones. Don't stress over it. But for your presentations, what will help the judges the most is don't go through a lot of detail about the bits and bytes of what you did or what you wanted to do. Tell us mostly what your goal was, how well you met the goal, and how that furthers the work of the IETF. And that's the most important thing for the judges to look at. Keep your presentations really short. And thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. The champions, first of all, I just want to thank all the champions for being here. We had a lot of people champion probably about like 20 different projects, and that's really what's going to make this hackathon work. So thank you. If you are championing a project and you haven't put the name of your project on the table yet, please do that, because we do have some people here who don't know you and are trying to find projects. So make sure that you've put the name of your project on the little sign at your table. That'll help everyone here. Here's the list that I have of all the projects. If you added your project in the last like 24 hours, I probably missed it. but as you can see, we have quite a list of projects here. So for those of you who you haven't found a team, this same project list is online. It's in the wiki. Go take a look. Try to figure out which project or projects are of most interest to you, and then go around the room and find them and talk to them. If you have a hard time finding them, come see me, and I'll help you find the people you need to find. The project presentations, I already covered these. As Barry mentioned, don't get too worried about it, but we do want to see what it was you did, because that's handy for us. They're only about 3 minutes long, so you can figure out who from your team is going to present. It doesn't have to be the project champion. It could be anyone. And I'll give more reminders for that later on. The judging criterion, this should help you understand what we're looking for. It's really, we're looking for how much you advance the pace and relevance of standards, how much you helped newcomers get integrated into the IETF. The fact that you did something technically very challenging and very cool, well, that's good too, but that's not the only thing we're looking for. I mentioned open source before. If you need a place to share your code to work on it, we do have this IETF100-HACKATHON-org in GitHub. If you need a place to share code, let me know. We'll get a project created there for you. If you already have another home for your code and you're working on it somewhere else in GitHub or elsewhere, that's perfectly fine. Your code doesn't need to be here. But it's just here. We can put it here if that's handy for you. So let me know. Just a resource to make life easier for you. The photo contest. We do try to have a little bit of fun. And so take some photos, put them out on Twitter. I have the hashtags there. If you put that, IETF Hackathon and IETF100, include those two hashtags. And then we'll have a winner for the best photo, and we will award a prize for that too. So multiple ways to win prizes here. Okay, more good news. The hackathon, I mentioned it ends Sunday, but Sunday afternoon. But that doesn't mean that the work we're doing on code needs to stop. A portion of this will, because this will be turned into the IETF Lounge, we're going to have what we call the Code Lounge. And that'll just be a space that we set up where you can come and continue your work if you want to. There is a wiki page where you can actually sign up. That's not so much to reserve space. It's more to help you coordinate with your own team members that, hey, Wednesday from 2 to 6, we're going to meet in the Code Lounge. So you can put your name, the name of your team, and the time slot that you want. It's something new that we're trying this year, having that sign-up sheet. If it's useful, we'll continue to do that. We're also going to try to have some refreshments and things brought in for those people in that area. My guess is it's going to be somewhere near this corner where you see this rack of equipment right now. Yeah, question.
Is there a closing time once it becomes a lounge? Is it open 24 hours?
Oh, good question. I'm not sure about the lounge. It's open all week. Do people remember from past years, does the lounge actually close? No, so then it'll be open. I think the sign-up sheet might only have certain hours, but you're actually not restricted to that. The Code Lab. Hey, this is that rack of equipment that you see back there in the corner. So that's just something that's here that is at your disposal. If you need VMs spun up, we can get those set up on that. If you need some kind of special network for doing some experimentation, we can get that set up on there. If you want to be able to access a CMTS, provide a home network type of thing off a cable modem, we can use it for that. There's lots of flexibility with it. If it's going to be useful for you, you can contact, get in touch with me or with Chris. Chris, you want to raise your hand back there? Are you back there? I don't see Chris at this moment, but our email addresses are there. So you can grab me. He'll be back there by that equipment a lot of the day, or you can send us an email too. And not just for today, but this is all week if it's useful for you. Okay, bits and bytes. We are not having bits and bytes this time. This is a change. So for those of you who have been here many times, this might be important to you. We mentioned that you can do the presentation on your project. We also set up some time where you can demo your project. What this is so that you can share what you did with the rest of the IETF community. So we don't have bits and bytes. What we have is what we call running code day. And that will be Wednesday, basically the area in front of the plenary. The plenary is Wednesday afternoon. And if it's useful for you, if you want to demo your project to people, you can do it there. We'll have some space set up in the foyer before the plenary, after the plenary, and pretty much all day. So if that is of interest to you, we're going to have a sign-up sheet for that too. I don't think it's live yet. Once it is, I'll share the link. So before the end of the hackathon, I'll share that with you. Anyone who wants to demonstrate their project can do that. And again, some kind of a new format that we're trying. But the idea being that we want you to be able to share what you did, not just with folks in the room here, but with the whole IETF community. And might be a good way for like other people from your working group to come see what you did. Okay, and then I mentioned the sponsors before. I thank you to them for helping us provide the space and the food and prizes. And there's a look at the shirt. Any questions? Any other questions on anything? That's the end of my little spiel here. Okay, well, great. Thanks for your time. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. And I'll let you get to it.